Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Shilpi. You must have seen me very often on the GETI Talks. I'm the relationship manager with the Global Education and Training Institute. And once again, welcome back to our show. Today we have a principal, and he is Dr. Vahinipati Anand Kumar. He's currently working as the regional training coordinator, DAV Center for Academic Excellence, cum principal of DAV Cemetery Public School in Sivan. So, welcome, Dr. Kumar, and thank you for joining in the disruptive education movement started by Dr. Sunita Gandhi. He's going to speak about the effective classroom management. So, sir, it's over to you.
Thank you, Shilpi madam, and thank you to GETI and Dr. Sunita Gandhi for providing this opportunity. And straight away, as the constraint of time and the topic is a vast one, we will be dealing with the most important part of schooling, that's the classroom and the classroom management. And in the next 30 minutes, whatever we'll be talking about is all about that a period of 40 minutes, how to manage the class effectively in a period of 40 minutes, and what are the classroom, what is classroom management and what are its different aspects. So let us go on to my presentation on this. Correct. Right. So I hope my audience, I welcome the August audience who is present over here and who has spared the time to watch this show. Effective classroom management. The objectives of this talk is to enable the participants to define the term classroom management, explain the purposes and importance of principles of classroom management, identify the factors affecting classroom management, and the various aspects of classroom management. So, classroom management basically is motivating students, increasing their appropriate behavior, building their self-esteem, preparing them for their future life. And as far as the teacher is concerned, being prepared, creative and imaginative in the daily lessons, effective discipline in the classroom, providing or creating a safe, comfortable environment, learning environment, ensuring the right climate for learning to occur. So for all these things, these are the, now we come to what is the importance of this effective class, why we should focus on effective classroom management. As it establishes and sustains an orderly environment in the classroom, increases meaningful academic learning, and facilitates social and emotional growth of the child. It decreases negative behaviors and increases time spent academically engaged, provides economy of time as well as energy. So, what are the major factors which affect classroom management? The environment of the class, it's not only the physical environment, rather the socio emotional environment of the classroom also plays a vital role. The teacher student relationship, the student student relationship in the classroom, and engaging the students into the classroom activities is the most prominent thing, and motivating them while they are engaged into it, motivating them for every step they go ahead, for every positive response that they give. And here on the right side, I have termed PECM, and And I'll explain how this whole classroom management can be coded into these four alphabets: PECM. Now, basically, the effective teachers they impact engaged students. Effective teachers establish effective learning classrooms, impact engaged students, and the students show positive behavior. So, classroom management is the foundation on which all the learning occurs and happens. It is important to use effective classroom management strategies as they serve both up as prevention and intervention methods that promote positive outcomes for students. The concept of classroom management is broader than that of discipline or classroom organization. How it is all, we'll deal about it. Teachers should create an environment that supports and facilitates both academic and social emotional learning of the students. So, what are the basic components? Uh,
Sir, sorry, sir. Can you move the slides? The slides aren't moving. It is on this
okay,
first. Yeah.
okay, I'm moving the slide for you. Mm, yeah, Shilpi Madam, is the current slide components of effective classroom visible to you? Are the slides moving for on the screen?
So now the components are visible. It is there.
Is it okay, ma'am? Is it okay?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you. Okay, thank you. So, the components of effective classroom management. The After the introduction to classroom management, what are the basic components of classroom management? It To enable the participants to explain all the components of effective classroom management, managing their classrooms effectively. Okay, now. Basically, the whole classroom management can be divided into three major components, that is the content management, conduct management, and covariant management. Content management has to do with all the content which the teacher chooses, the methodology which the teacher chooses to deliver that content, the management of the planning of the time, the planning of the space, the planning of the material which the teacher is going to use in those 40 minutes. And while planning this content, the teacher plans to have an effective content management. The teacher must engage, plan in a way so that the lessons are interactive and engaging for the students. So planning, the P stands for the planning, and this is a pre preparation for the classroom. The teacher plans all the things, the space, time, and the content, and the teaching aids, uh, the methodology, what he or she has to use, and uh, while planning this, he must take absolute care of the learning styles of the target group, that is the students sitting in the classroom, along with the multiple intelligences that the children, the students sitting in the classroom are having. So this all is a pre-preparation, the pre-prowling that the teacher should have, while and if that much time is spent before entering into the class for planning the class, then that deals with the content management part. Here it is written occurs when the teachers manage space, materials, equipment, and the movement of the people in the class and the lessons. that are part of the curriculum and the program of studies. Second part is the conduct management, the behavioral management of the students. Conduct management refers to the set of procedural skills that teacher employs in their attempt to address and resolve discipline problems in the classroom, making framing rules in the classroom and rules, routines, procedures, etc. Then deciding the awards and rewards for positive display of behavior. This all comes under the conduct management. The content management and conduct management are something which we all have been dealing with on all the trainings that have been going on in our country, in India, and most of the world have been focusing on how to teach things, how to plan better teaching, how to use better teaching aids, etc., and the teaching methodologies, etc., and of course, how to manage discipline in the class. But the third part of classroom management, that is the covenant management, is the most prominent and important part of classroom management. And covenant management helps in strengthening both conduct management and effective content management also, because covenant management focuses on the classroom group as a social system. It deals with the teacher student relationship, student relationship, and when that positive socio emotional atmosphere will be there, then only that linking, that bonding will be there between the student and the teacher and the student, and the students themselves. Then that whole homogeneous classroom will be conducive for collaborative learning. And the children's not only they will develop in the academic part, but also in the socio emotional development will be very strong. So this bonding between person to person inside the classroom is very the most prominent and important part. And if that is worked out effectively, conduct is already easily managed, and content whatever is being delivered will effectively reach to the students. So now coming to the first P that I earlier I showed in the slides, PEMC. The P stands for plan. Plan meticulously and effectively. Plan meticulously and for the effective content management. What are the things that needs to be planned? The content, how much is to be taken up, the interactive engaging methodology, that is most important. What happens in general is that in most of the 90% of the classrooms, what happens, 70 to 80% of the classroom time is consumed by the teachers, and 20 to 25% of the classroom time of the period is used by the students get a chance to express themselves. But if you want to have an effective outputs of your class, this should be reversed. The teacher should become a facilitator. He or she should create that environment, should provide should provide those activities, and that create that and help the children get engaged into it. And in the process of engaging mentally or physically into the activities, the children will be learning themselves, and they will be learning from each other. They will be thinking about the concepts. And that's why the second important word I say is engaging the students is the most important. So the teacher should plan in a way to engage for maximum engagement of the students. And planning of the time, 40 minutes, how she or he is going to use in the classroom with the children. And the materials, teaching aids, how it will be used, the available teaching aids or whatever the teacher has planned, how the space will be used, what will be the seating arrangements for a particular activity. These all things comes under the planning part. And this whole planning, the main focus should be for plan for an interactive and engaging classroom. So plan and engage. Now comes the third thing. And before going there, the bottom line says unplanned teaching and learning is a recipe of wasting time. If we are not properly planned our content and its delivery, the time will be wasted, the effort will be wasted, and outputs will be minimal. So, an effective teacher, what what are the qualities for him? Masters of the material, well prepared and well organized. This part, well prepared and well organized, is the planning part. He or she is enthusiastic, innovative, creative, always thinking of different ways of delivering things. He or she should not be monotonous, warm and approachable, alert and watchful, firm, reasonable, fair, and consistent, and have clear and well moderated speech. So, these are the qualities of an effective teacher. And as I told you, while planning, the teacher should have the knowledge of the learning styles of the students, the work modalities. Most of us are acquainted with that. Every human being has a different learning style or a combination of one of these four, one or more of these learning styles. One is visual. The some of the students, some of the human beings, they prefer to use images, maps, and graphic organizers to access and understand new information. Auditory, VARK, work. Auditory stands for learning best through listening and speaking, the lectures and group discussions, etc. Third, some of the students are happy to learn new things by reading and writing, learns best through words and are avid readers, copious note takers, and can translate abstract concepts into words. The fourth type of learners are kinesthetic. Kinesthetic learners best they learn best through tactile representation of information, that is by bodily movement. They love to do things and learn, and they are hands-on learners. Okay, so one was the knowing the learning style of the students. The second important aspect while planning a lesson is to planning a lesson is okay. Multiple intelligences. The teacher should be aware of the eight. Every child is having different multiple interest, a different interest on which the child depends the most, on which they are born. Some of them are born body smart. They are called bodily kinesthetic. Some are people smart. Some are word smart. Some are logic smart. Some are nature smart. They love the animals, plants, and natural things. And some of them are self smart. They are called the intrapersonal things, intrapersonal multiple intelligence, and visual and spatial. They are picture smart. Some of the students or the human beings, you can say, every human being has his own command on the multiple intelligence. And the last one are the music smart. These are the 8 multiple intelligences, and most of the students in the classroom are an expert in one or two of these intelligences. So for when we are having students with different intelligences, different tastes and choices, definitely we should have a differentiated instruction also. So a differentiated instruction is tailor-made, customized, uh, customized planning for every student, so that whatever is there, like accordingly they can learn according to their own interests. So similarly, teaching styles are also equally important, and for knowing your five types of teaching styles are there: expert teacher, the formal authority, the personal model, the facilitator, and the delegator. We'll not go into the details of this, but you can know, every teacher can know what his or her teaching style is from this link. And this link is the Gresha Richmond's teaching style survey. You can find it on the internet, on Google, and you can find that what is the your teaching style, how much percentage you are an expert or a formal authority, or a personal model or a facilitator or a delegator. And facilitators, personal models, facilitators, delegators are two student centric teaching styles. Expert and formal authority are the teacher centric teaching styles. So not one teaching style is correct. We have to use these teaching styles according to the topic, according to the situation, whichever suits best. So here the key messages are that there are no best teaching styles. Effective teachers use a variety of teaching styles, and they know how and when to choose the most appropriate one for the specific situation. Teachers should not be use a simple single type of style every day in the class. This brings monotony and boredom for the students. They lack interest in the classroom. It's vital to engage students in learning process. Engaging the students is the most important part. Planning is important. Engaging the students is important, no matter which teaching style you use, but the students' engagement is important. Selecting a style that addresses the needs of diverse students, their learning styles, and their MIs, etc., is very important. So, for that, different learning levels begins with the personal inventory, self-evaluation by the teachers to know their strengths and weaknesses. So you can, again, I tell you that you can go through this Grisha Deshman teaching style survey. It is available in the name of longleafnet.net teaching styles, or you can type this and you can get it. And through this survey, you can assess your teaching style. Now, coming to the next part is the conduct management. Conduct management is, and this I love it very much. Reason being, students are more likely to do things they will be rewarded for than punished for. But unfortunately, teachers often focus more attention on punishing poor behavior rather than rewarding appropriate behavior. So, if you want to have effective conduct management in the classroom, what is important is the positive motivation for the students. In any classroom of 40 minutes, say, uh, hardly one or two students misbehave, or hardly there is a, a slight 5% of deviation in the classroom due to the uh, unexpected behavior of a student. That means that 95% of the time, 95% of the students of your classroom have been well behaved. They were doing as per your expectation. But we as teachers, we forget and fail to appreciate the good behavior. But when someone by mistake or intentionally does a displays a wrong unexpected behavior, we start punishing them, or we start uh, implementing disciplinary rules and regulations. If we go for positive motivation for the positive behavior, automatically negative behavior will vanish from the classroom. That's why here this red I have highlighted in the red part, that students are more likely to do things they will be rewarded for rather than being punished for. But unfortunately, teachers often focus more attention on punishing poor behavior than on rewarding appropriate behavior. So, if we reverse this, if we appreciate their every good thing, then it will become, the students will also start thinking positively, because when the good behavior will be appreciated, rewarded, awarded, naturally everyone wants applause, everyone wants praise, everyone wants rewards and awards. So they will never go for the negative behavior. And definitely for conduct management, we should establish rules, procedures, routines, which are very important. And but here, while establishing a rule, it's not the teacher who should decide the rules. We should do it in the presence of the students, let them frame rules for themselves for different things, and we should be there so that they can own the rules. They should know why a particular rule has been formed. And a procedure is a set of rules, and a routine is when these set of rules are repeated again and again, and they become spontaneous for the children. So that becomes a routine. So rules, routines, and procedures are important for effective classroom management. And I would again say that instead of going for punishing, puny comes from the word punier, and punier means giving pain. And I say that, and we all will agree that by giving anyone pain, you cannot bring a positive change. Let it be a verbal pain or a psychological pain or a physical pain. If you want any positive results to come, you need to motivate, and motivation is the third important thing for effective classroom management, and motivation leads to positive behavior. So the classroom rules should be general, short, easy, necessary, reasonable, and enforceable, different for different kinds of activities, and consistent with the school rules and stated positively. Most important, classroom rules should be framed in the consultancy with the students, and the classroom rules should be easy, simple. This is just an example. This slide gives you an example of the rules. And here you see the instructions are in imperative sentences: follow directions quickly. But if the students will frame it, this will be a better language. We listen to the teachers, we are nice to others, we help keep our classroom clean, we play safely. So motivation in the classroom management is the key to classroom management and success in the classroom. So the third letter M stands for motivation. Plan, engage the students, motivate them. When they are engaged, motivate them. So motivation is one of the strategies which teachers can use to manage students effectively in the classroom, and it is based on the principle that students need to be self motivated. So this is the jigsaw for a effective classroom discipline plan: routines, rules, positive consequences, and negative consequences. Now, coming to the third part, the covenant management, and we are left with 3-4 minutes. And this is the third and the most important part. And if you are engaging the students, if you are motivating them, you will connect to the students. And connecting to the students, C stands for connecting to the students. And if you are connected to the students, you have a special bonding with them of love and affection, wonders will happen. You will be the God for them, and they will never forget, and they will never they will always follow you. So the objective of this part is to enable the participants to establish a strengthened, proper, and effective interpersonal relationships in their classrooms. And for this, what are the characteristics of effective teacher-student relationships? Knowing the learning styles, the multiple intelligences, the socio-emotional background of the students also is important. The teacher should have the knowledge of all the students. Only he or she will be able to understand the students and connect to them. Exhibiting appropriate levels of dominance. The dominance should not be very high and the cooperation should be high. So there should be a balance between the dominance and cooperation in the classroom from the teacher's side. Staying alert about the mood swings in the students, being aware of high needs of the students. And this is, I will show you in full. Right. Okay. Right. So this part, this is a graph for the optimal student teacher relationship is a combination of high cooperation and high dominance. A combination of both uh, reaches. You can see this now. High dominance and high cooperation, this quadrant of this graph results into optimal teacher and student relationship. So now, in the last 2 minutes, uh, take a personal interest in the students. What we need to have that covenant bonding with the students. We should talk to them informally. We should greet them outside the school if they need, if they meet. Uh, single out single out a few students each day to talk to them. Be aware of their needs. Compliment them for their important achievements. And I would like to finally share this one photo of this painting drawn by the Russian artist, the Fyodor, and it is a lesson for all of us. Unconditional love. Painting of a child who returns from school while he failed, and the family looks at him and treats him with blame and rejection. His brothers is gloating look. If you see it from close, right, you see the expression on the faces of the family members, and then you see this dog. The artist conveys that treat the child like the dog does. It loves him equally in failures and success. It loves him for himself. Unconditional love. And that's what we need to do with the child, because the child remains the same. Where it's not that sometime he is bad and sometime he is good. The child will always be the same. So the key messages are that the majority of the discipline problems are a result of poor teacher-student relationship. Covenant management is the important aspect of classroom management, and if we master it, our other two aspects will be automatically giving better results of. And teachers should promote, establish trustful and respectful relationships in the classroom. And with all these, following these three aspects of classroom management, we can turn an ill managed class. You see this pic. One child has already absconded from the class. The other child is biting the dust. One is sleeping and one is irritated. And from here, we can change it into a classroom full of joy, a classroom full of uh, an effective classroom management helps in preventing failure, frustration, and boredom and confusion in the classroom. You see the happy faces. Everyone is ready to answer. Everyone is ready to is engaged in the classroom, and this is what an effective teacher using effective classroom management can do to the class. And thanks for this, and thanks for being a patient listener to me, and thanks to GETI, thanks to uh, dr Dr. Sunita Gandhi and Shilpi Madam for coordinating this program. Over to Shilpi Madam.
Yes. Thank you, sir, so much for being here and explaining the entire effective classroom management. I know it's a very subjective topic and it takes a lot of time to go through each point and explain. But you have done very well by trying to give it in a synopsis kind of a thing. All the right from I think from Howard Gardner's multiple intelligence to the rules of classroom management. So, sir, my question to you would be we are running short of time, although, but then does this kind of classroom management apply to all levels? Is it that, it's much more easier in higher classes and some part of it is much applicable in the primary class?
Nice. This thing is applicable almost from class the primary pre-primary classes to secondary classes. It is directly applicable, and some part of it is applicable in the senior secondary classes uh, also. But in the smaller classes, it is more effective and more applicable.
Okay. All right. So, what about the primary classes then? Like, are they supposed to be dealt in the traditional way then?
No, not at all. And it should that primary classes should never be based on that cramming and repeating things one after the other, day by day. It should be all activities, and while they are doing those activity performing, they would be automatically learning, not knowing that they are in the learning process. They should not feel that they are learning something. They are in the class playing. They should be interacting with each other, and in the meantime, they will be getting whatever they are supposed to.
Right. So, thank you so much, sir, for being here and enlightening us on the effective classroom management. Hope to see you again in another session of Getty Talks. Very good
Thank you,
evening,
ma'am.
sir.
Thank you. Welcome.